Hello everyone, this is Rufus Shinra, coming back for a account assessment this time for our good friend Mr. XxLegends420. Blaze it up. So the goal of this session today is to take a look around at the champions that we have, take a look around at the overall account situation, and devise a battle plan for an upcoming takeover. So Legend will be farming a little bit of dragon in the days to come. As you see here, he has a fair amount of silver. So yeah, hopefully we'll be able to help him out improving his clan boss situation in Nightmare clan boss, and hopefully also in Ultra Nightmare. So starting off with the Great Hall, this is an absolutely great haul. So accuracy well developed, almost across the board. And defense also pretty good on the force affinity, as well as on also an even board of 4 and sometimes even 6 and 5. Yeah, so this is a very great haul, and there's nothing much I could add here. So this is good. This will help us develop the team fairly well. Let's go check the teams. So if I see who was being used recently. Alright, so we'll start off with Razin. What kind of stats are we looking at? 4.5k defense. This is great for a defense-based champion, especially for Razin. 169 speed. We don't have a counter-attacker, so this speed is still low, and the accuracy is also low. So we need to check why. The critical rate and critical damage also can be improved to have more damage. And what kind of gear do we have? So we probably have defense on these two pieces, yes. So and we have speed on the boots, lifesteal, not many speed substats on the weapon, and fairly low rolls on the helmet and on the chest. Very good critical rate piece with a quad roll on defense. This is a piece that we definitely might want to keep. And defense here on the gauntlets. Here actually I'm on the fence. We'll see what we can do. The HP on the jewelry does not help Razin that much. Accuracy does, but the HP no. I would prefer to have crit damage here. Defense on the ring is the way to go. So let's take a look at what we have to work with as far as pieces go. So I'm sure we can find some decent crit damage pieces here. Oh, unfortunately we don't for some reason. They might be on some other champions. So we have one at least. This is the only one that is usable. The others are 4 stars, so they're not worth rolling past 12 at most. Okay, about banners. So do we have any better banner? This is a resistance banner, and this is an accuracy banner. Already we're looking better. If we switch out this banner here, we'll get closer to the 200 accuracy mark, which is what we need to land debuffs consistently on the clan boss. Let's take a look at the skills and the book situation. So Razin appears to be fully booked. Perfect. What about the masteries? So we went down support and offense routes with speed buff in mastery. So this would be I would be giving the opposite advice as the one I usually give when I'm taking over accounts with speed-tuned counter comps. So this is exactly what you want to do when you're running a speed team. So you need every bit of turn meter increase that you can muster. This is also a mastery you might have wanted to get, even better than the cooldown reduction, because here it's only 5% chance to reduce the cooldown, whereas here it's a 30% chance of increasing the turn meter by 10%. So this is a master that you might want to get. Let's see. Yeah, sure, we could still respec. So and on the other side of the tree we have classics. I'm sure there's something that we could do with the masteries, but this is not dramatically, let's say, on the bad side of things. So we can work with those masteries, but we could benefit a little bit from different ones. So this is for Razin. Let's check Alton. Yeah, these are good masteries for speed team Alton. very good. Nothing to say here. Could use the defense to get a little bit more of the counterattack masteries like Retribution or Deterrence. So mainly these two, but the support tree gives out on the chance of extending his shields, which is also a very good perk when you think about it. What about the skills? So yeah, we don't have unlimited books, so his 60% chance is not improved, but still 60% is huge, and it can work. So this is the Altan. What about gear and stats? 4K defense, 183 speed, already better than our Rosin here. Nice even numbers. My OCD thanks you very much. This is beautiful, but a little bit too much crit rate, though we could improve the crit damage by a lot. Keep the crit rate at 100% or close. So we're using speed and lifesteal, classic combination. Again, not many speed substats or multi-rolls, actually none so far, only on the chest. Speed boots as it should be, and none on the helmet. So I'll take a look at the gear later, but this is our Altan. He's also using AFR with high accuracy, pretty high speed, okay-ish defense, but then again AFR has very low defense, so it's pretty hard to get him up there without sacrificing other stats. I don't think that his multipliers are that good, especially when you're against clan boss where you want defense-based champions. So we won't care that much about crit rate and crit damage for now. The HP is also a little bit on the low side, so this AFR could be able to place poisons. 202 is just a little bit faster than the clan boss, but not fast enough to make a difference, meaning to make him lap the clan boss. Books, fully booked, good. Masteries, again, pretty similar to Rosin. So these, yeah, as I said earlier, these are good masteries. These are good. They could be a little bit improved if we added this one, but still they're pretty good, especially for AFR. I think that this mastery benefits him more than other champions because he can reduce the cooldown on his I think it was the A3. No, sorry, it was the A2. So it's on 3 turn cooldowns, and you have 5% chance of reducing it to a 2 turn cooldown attacks, making him constantly place those poisons on the clan boss. Moving on, we're using Steel Skull. Now, pretty peculiar comp. Oh, so this is where we're starting to have a little bit of an issue. 305 is too high, way too high for clan boss. So he will definitely be placing his poisons, as we saw, or as I've seen on multiple occasions. Steel Skull has a tendency of placing his poisons no matter how much accuracy he has. So this is definitely overkill. You don't need this here, you need a defense piece with speed substats, of course. This also needs speed substats, and the thing with Steel Skull, take a look at his stats. He has a base speed of 111, pretty exactly the same figure that we saw on Altan, so multiple 111s. So it's easy to make him super fast if you just build him for speed. Easy is an easy word to say. So we'll see how we can do that, either with speed sets or with speed substats from the other pieces of gear. And again, I'm not sure about including him in the comp. So he's a debuff cleanser, yes. He places poison, he places defense up, helping Rosin and Altan up their damage, but it's not that great of a boost. Arbiter is what I'm interested in. So his Arbiter is 275, 48k HP, and close to 200 defense. Accuracy is low, but this is normal for an Arbiter that is used in Arena. However, Arbiter can be very efficient in clan boss. I would assume that the Masteries are also Arena oriented. Yep. So I'd argue that even without War Master or any damage oriented mastery, Arbiter with these masteries could be better for your comp than Apothecary. I don't know if you tried her earlier, but this might be something that we definitely need to explore. Let's take a look again at the champions that we have. So, I wonder about her book situation. Cool, really cool. So, Blind Seer is also a great option for speed comps. First, because she has absolutely high speed, 115. Again, I know I say that every time, but I think that's actually the highest speed in the game. So she has a res on her A3, meaning she returns champions to life when they're down and places block damage. So this is a great against clan boss, in dungeons, in arena, pretty much everywhere. Her A2 also places shield and block debuffs. This is good for tanking the stun. And her A1, well, this does not affect the clan boss, the turn meter reduction, but still, if she has okay, so this is also arena oriented, but if she had her clan boss masteries or her offensive masteries, then she could also be an asset. Jericho also, surprisingly, Jericho might be just the missing piece in your team, because you have the defense up, you have maybe actually a couple of defense up champions, but you don't have an ally protection. That also is good. So the trick here, or the tricky part with speed comps, is that your champions need to be fast, really fast, but they sometimes, if they're too fast, they will start lapping out of the buffs that you place on them. But again, we don't need or we need not disregard this guy, because in addition to his attack down, which is what he's most known for, his A2 places a 50% ally protection and a 60% increased defense on all allies for 2 turns. The only better option for this attack or this buff is Tyrant, who has a similar kit but on a 3-turn cooldown. So yeah, he already has his masteries for clan boss. And who else did we want to see? So no rock could be your absolute stun eater, because his passive here, so it's immune to stun, free, sleep debuffs, decreases damage taken by allies by 15%, great damage mitigation, plus a stun magnet. So you will not have to worry about your champions being stunned as long as you have no rock in your comp. So this is definitely a good option to consider, especially since we won't be absolutely sure that we will have our block debuffs at all time. So that leaves us with Logan the Steadfast. I guess not booked yet, not fully ascended, and no masteries. But if you take a look at his kits, so on his A1, when it's ascended, it heals the allies by 25% of the damage inflicted and places a shield buff on Logan equal to 10% of their max HP for 2 turns. So this one is huge, especially since he is an HP based champion, so the more HP, the higher damage, the higher the heals, and the bigger the shield. Bodyguard places 16% increased defense on this champion for 3 turns, and also places a 50% ally protection buff on all allies for 2 turns. So he will take the damage from the allies and boost his own defense so that he can tank it like a champ. Mark of Silence, this one doesn't work on clan boss and we don't want him to use it, but again, if he's just ascended, perhaps he definitely needs the book so that he brings out to his max potential. But this champion is not to be overlooked. He's a great healer and he has potential for damage. Rotos, finally. So this is one way to build him. Again, now here this doesn't work, so the crit rate is okay, but the crit damage needs to be way higher. Of course, he's not yet ascended, so we don't have a crit damage necklace on him. I would assume that again, I don't know if we have any. Alright, we at least have one. So Rotos with his crit damage necklace, maybe with an HP or attack banner. Savage is pretty good, so Savage Gear ignores 25% of the enemy defense. That's a pretty good option. He has a built-in extra turn mechanic on his A1, so he has 30% chance of granting extra turn. I know that many people said that, yeah, he already has an extra turn, so why bother giving him Relentless? The reason is, if you give him Relentless, he will start taking a lot more extra turns in matches. It's still RNG, but the odds of him taking an extra turn skyrocket with Relentless. And since he already can do so much damage on his own without the need of ignoring defense, especially on fixed defense mobs like the clan boss, so Relentless is the way to go in clan boss actually, and especially in a speed comp. And finally, potentially the start of the show, Lanakis the Chosen. So Lanakis the Chosen, she's a magic champion. Her A1 places a 15% continuous heal on this champion for 1 turn if the attack is critical. So you want her crit to be 100%, so that she always has that 15% continuous heal on her. 2, so she teams up with 3 random allies to attack a single enemy. The allies during the attack will use their default skills, and then she fills the turn meters of all allies by 30% and increases the duration of all ally buffs by 1 turn. This is absolutely beast. This is OP. We definitely want Lanakis Chosen in the team. She will be the centerpiece, especially when this attack is booked. And finally, so places a 30% increased crit rate buff and 50% increased attack buff on all allies. So she screams attack comp, and yeah, so she's the next best thing if you don't have a counter attack and you have a Lanakis Chosen. I think that she's even better than Longbeard as far as group attacks go. No Masteries yet, but I mean, Lanakis should be your focus. If you want to improve your damage, this is the way to go. So we can build a team around this lovely lady here. So now, one last thing to check is the gear, which is not to be overlooked. So the sets I want to look at mainly are lifesteal, speed and accuracy, but we can also take a look at the other sets if we have any good pieces that we can use. So for lifesteal, we don't have many great rolls here so far, so we want pieces with speed substats. So yeah, we need more pieces with speed substats. ACC is not to be overlooked, but pieces like this one are the ones that we want to be using. Same thing for the helmets, and same thing for the shields. Okay, so we'll try to find those pieces, roll them up, and then make the best out of them. So for gauntlets, we'll be looking at either defense or crit damage. So this is a good example, except that if it had speed substat, it would definitely be a candidate for 16. Since it doesn't, then not much use. So for chests, we will forget about ACC. We'll be looking at defense for most of the champions, or attack for Rotos. Attack chest with speed substats for Rotos works wonders. For the boots, we'll be running a speed comp, so they will be definitely speed boots. I could consider attack boots, but it will really be dependent on the substats from the other sets. So I want to take a look at the Relentless. No, come on. So now I see why you didn't build him in. Maybe you have your Relentless pieces on other champions, I don't know, but this would be great for Rotos, for instance. Not a 6-star piece, but still great for Rotos. Okay. But you do have some nice Savage pieces, you've been farming your Fire Knight, I see. So this is all good. Cruel set could also be used. Immortal, Divine Speed, anything we can get speed from, but Relentless definitely would have been a great addition to your Rotos. Nevertheless, he can still do damage without Relentless. He's savage that way. So this concludes our review of Legend420's account, and as we've all seen, we will be able to build a speed comp centered around Lanakis the Chosen. This should be pretty fun, as we have all the key pieces to do that. We will see which champions to include, I'm not yet sure, but definitely we have enough silver to work with. and with the farming that Legend will be doing through the next days, we definitely will have the pieces also. So if you'd like to join in the fun, please follow the link in the description below for our Discord server, where myself as well as my whole team will be more than happy to help you and answer any questions you might have regarding Raid. Of course, we are not all-knowing, but we try to gather as much information resources as we can, as much knowledgeable players as we can. So you can also apply for an account takeover if you'd like to. It's completely free, at least for the first 100. We're now at about 40-something account takeovers, not keeping count, but there's plenty of room for everyone. So yeah, come on in, join, and let's have fun. So this has been Rufus Shinra from the Shinra Corporation, and I'll be seeing you in the next video. Thank you.